Good evening, everyone. We're starting a little bit late today. I'd call on Council Nance if he'll lead us in a prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand with me.
Lord, we thank you for this day. We thank you for this time together. I pray that you be with us tonight as we try to be about your business and help us, Lord, to make good decisions for the city. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Salute. Pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
John Ketcher.
Here.
Joya Shropshire.
Here.
Dennis Nance.
Here.
Steve Smith.
Here.
Randy Chipwood. Brianna Breakenfield.
Here.
Chris Gumpier.
Here.
Laura Seaver.
Here.
Thank you. Item 2, petitions from the audience. There are none. Item 3, department head reports. Building inspector, no report. Emergency management, no report. Fire department, recognize Chief B.K. Young.
I don't have a whole lot. The guys have been running calls today. Somebody didn't send the memo out. It's too hot to be playing firemen, but they've been running around, so they've been doing a good job. We've had kind of a short response just with everybody with the holidays and everything else like that. We got paid guys off on leave and volunteers out doing their thing, so it's kind of tight right now on manpower. Shoto came and helped us. We just left Gap not too long ago. That had a little fire there. Shoto came and helped us, so that was really good. We always like them. We get those guys to show up, man. And Locust and Agner and all of them, they're good to us, good guys. But that's pretty much all we've had. Eva's group helped me out. I was gone last week, so with the year finishing up or tying it up and everything, I was gone, but they helped cycle through and help James and Waynesy get through it. So, but those ladies are always great. Cheryl is always there to help us with the POs and stuff like that. Like I said, got nothing but good things to say about it. That's all I got.
Questions? Thank you, B.K.
Yes, sir.
Golf course, no report. Library, recognize Ms. Carrie Rarrett.
Things are going well at the Graham Community Building. We're in a constant battle with the air conditioners that are there. They condensate a lot when it's this hot. So we've had some dripping in there, but Melton's has been pretty responsive to our needs and getting everything taken care of between Melton's and the maintenance crew here at the city. So that's going well. Summer reading is still in progress. If you haven't gotten your bingo sheets, there's still time. I don't know if I told you guys that our grand prize this year is a private showing for you and 19 of your closest friends at the All Red. You get to basically talk to the All Red, pick the movie that they can show, that they have the licensing to show, and then invite 19 other people, and you get pop and popcorn with that prize. So we did it. We had a private showing with, as a library staff kind of thing a few years ago, and saw Jaws, and it was super fun. So we're really excited about that. So you have to have a bingo sheet, and you have to get a blackout on your bingo in order to get in that drawing. And I encourage you to hurry, because July is our last month. If you want to come to programming this week, we have on Thursday at 10 a.m., we're going to do kind of a crafting free-for-all. All of the craft supplies that we have at the Graham Building will come downstairs, and you can just make whatever you want. And then in the evening, we're partnering with the Arts and Humanities Council to do an art appreciation presentation. Ron Dryden is going to present that, so that should be interesting. And then if you are on hold on an ebook, I'm hopeful that I have just lessened your hold time. I went through and purchased with our ebook library the top 10 holds in our library, so hopefully people will not be, there were, let's see, Where the Crawdad Sings, because the movie's coming out, we have about 13 people on hold. The whole consortium has 245, so I bought a copy for us, so that copy will circulate among our patrons first, and then it'll go help the rest of the consortium. So I'm hoping that that will lessen some of the hold times that we have. Do you guys have any questions for me?
Thank you for that nice update. I appreciate it. Thank you. We have Parks and Cemetery next up. Recognize Frank Powell.
Don't really have much. Running in the middle of the summer, just now we're just doing our mowing and maintaining, dealing with the heat. Got a couple of projects to do once it cools off. But, I mean, other than that, I don't really have much right now. Just doing our summer thing.
We connect with the Oklahoma Department of Wildlife, and and every June, they will come out and they'll round up some of the ducks from some of the duck population at the park. How many did they pick up each time?
They captured 21 last week.
That's all?
Yeah, so a lot of them are starting to, they're dispersing into the neighborhood. They come for like a week ahead of time. He'll feed to try and get them used to coming, but, they can't trample through people's yards and stuff, so we know there's not as many as there was over the winter. I don't know where they went unless they're just so spread out, but, every little bit they get helps.
Muscovies are grazers, and with the drought, I'm sure they're having to go look for food elsewhere.
Yep. Then you got people who, some it gets annoying too, and some love it. Some set out kiddie pools and, for the ducks, and so it's kind of hard to stop some of it. But
Supposedly they molt during the month of June.
this is the only time there's a certain time of year they can do this.
Yeah.
So, but last year they got like 70, but most of those were geese. This year was ducks. There's a couple of them with ducklings around. They didn't get those, so it won't be long. We'll be have quite a few more. Other than that, so just mowing and maintaining.
Very good. Questions? Thank you, Frank. Police Department, Animal Shelter. Recognize Miss Becky Sams.
You guys know that we've been crazy busy around the shelter with what's going on with the distemper. Out of the 37 that we pulled blood on, 36 of those came back negative, and we had already euthanized the one that had come back positive before we got the results back. So I was pretty impressed with that. So now we're just doing some final cleaning under the direct orders of Dr. Jacob Beck. He still wants us to withhold adopting anything for another 2 weeks, just to make sure, just because I really feel like this came into the city back in the fall when we had all the trouble with the raccoons. We caught a lot of raccoons that were positive with it. So just need to get our citizens to vaccinate, and this will all go away. Any questions?
Thanks for your work. Appreciate it. Rec Center, no report. Street Department, Mr. Smith.
Caught me off guard. They were working on a project, supposedly to finish it up today, but he wasn't for sure. But Buddy said they were done with it, so that was all his report.
Very good. Buddy cannot be here tonight. We'll move on to Mayor's report. Item 4A, discussion possible action regarding resolutions supporting continued participation in Main Street programs. We have Ms. Jenny LaFave here tonight. If you could go ahead and come to the microphone. Council, you have a resolution on page 1 of the packet, and then the 4-point approach that Main Street does is the following pages. Jenny, tell us about that.
I can. I didn't have anything prepared, but luckily I know it like the back of my hand. So the 4-point approach is something that is trickled down from a national program, and we are part of the state program. And then I don't even need it. I don't even need it. We're good. And then we are your essentially local chapter of that. And the resolution is something that's done every year that's required by the state to be able to, for Pryor to be able to receive the state services, but then also for us to be a program that's housed underneath the Main Street name. So the 4-point approach is the way that everything is done with every main street across the nation. It's a little bit different depending on your community, obviously, because every community is different, but it's the same, just standard that Main Street programs try to work towards. So that's design, that's basically exactly what it sounds like. What does it look like downtown? What is attractive within your downtown? And then there's organization, and then that is basically Main Street, our program, how we are promoting us and how are we creating value within our community. Then there's promotion, that's the promotion of the downtown district, and that comes in many forms, whether it's the businesses within it, the events, anything that essentially draws the community to the downtown district. And then there's economic vitality, which is a little bit different term for economic development. And that's essentially us keeping track of anything that might be interested in the downtown corridor as far as spaces, but it could also be business recruitment and helping the businesses that we already have. So everything that you see us do, whether it be on social media or in the paper or anything like that, any project we have behind the scenes or in front of you, all 4 of those elements combine and go into those pieces of the 4-point approach. So I'm here if you have any questions.
We'll have a question for Jenny. We have the resolution on page 1 of your packet, and we'll need, thank you, Jenny.
You're welcome.
We'll need to assign a number to that, but it's appropriate to read it aloud for those listening in. A resolution supporting continued participation in Main Street programs. Whereas the Oklahoma Main Street Center has been established in the Oklahoma Department of Commerce to assist small towns and cities to develop a public-private effort to revitalize their Main Street areas. And whereas the City of Pryor Creek, Oklahoma desires to continue participating in the Oklahoma Main Street Center, now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Pryor Creek, Section 1, that City of Pryor Creek supports the participation in the 2022-2023 Oklahoma Main Street Center with the specific goal of revitalizing the historic center business district using the Main Street 4-point approach to economic revitalization. Section 2, that the City of Pryor Creek understands that Main Street approach is a long-term process that results in a continual effort to maintain and enhance downtown historic commercial district. That is the resolution. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Motion Gantier, second. Who seconded? Ketcher?
Catcher.
Ketcher. Very good. Any discussion? Shall we assign a number?
2022, number 7.
Number 7? Very good. Call for vote, please.
Kitcher,
Yes.
Shropshire,
Yes.
Nance,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Wakefield,
Yes.
Gantier,
Yes.
Seaver,
Yes.
Thank you, motion carries. Excuse me. Item before B, discussion possible action regarding awarding $611.11 from donations earmarked monies account 969655235, donations/trails, in parentheses, Cherokee, to Mays County Trails Alliance for their grant writer expense in writing the federal grant, Safe Streets and Roads for All. The project identified for this grant is a countywide Safe Routes to School plan, which will put Mays County towns, including Pryor Creek, in a shovel-ready position to apply for implementation funding in the future. Is there a motion?
Motion. Second.
Motion Shropshire, second Smith. We have with us Ms. Ariana Durr. Can I give some explanation?
Yes, absolutely. So for those of you who don't know the Mays County Trails Alliance, we are a nonprofit whose mission is to transform communities through active living initiatives. And so one of our big efforts is to try to implement the Mays County Master Trails Plan. And for those of you who don't know, that's a county-wide bicycle trail system that connects all the small towns together through that bicycle trail system. So with that said, we are always on the lookout for funding opportunities since this is a super long-range plan. It's cost millions and millions of dollars. So we have to take little bites as opportunities come. So with that said, there's an opportunity. It's a federal grant for, like Mayor said, a Safe Streets and Roads for All grant. The super exciting thing about this grant is there's an action plan piece and an implementation piece. And if we can get this action plan, which we hope will be a countywide Safe Routes to School plan, we will be shovel-ready for that implementation the following year. So that's super exciting, and there's like over $100 million available for that. So we're super hopeful, especially if we can get all jurisdictions on board to collaborate. And so you will be seeing myself and or my coworker Marty to get support letters as we get all those steps aligned out. So right now we're focusing on getting money for the grant writer. We have like $600 in our account, and Mayor was at our meeting and he was like, oh, I know, we have $600 that was donated through the Cherokee Nation for the trails. So this could be perfect if you guys would be willing to let the trails have that money. We will put it to good use for hopefully that grant writer, and we will be able to come back with a super awesome plan, hopefully. So that's what it's for.
So I was at a meeting, Ariana was holding the meeting with Mesa County Trails Alliance. Several of us were there. And one of the things that I do is I look at monies that perhaps might be left over from times past when we have spent and donated monies that were earmarked specifically for trails. So there's $611.11 just hanging there. I felt like it might be a way to put it to good use. So with the grant writer.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you for that. Any other questions?
Questions? No questions? Discussion? Thank you, Ariana. Call for vote.
Shropshire.
Yes.
Nance.
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Wakefield.
Yes.
Gantier.
Yes.
Seaver.
Yes.
Hitcher.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you. Item C, discussion possible action regarding removing from the table item 4A from the June 21st, 2022 council meeting. Is there a motion?
Motion. Second.
Motion, Brakefield, was that your motion? Second, Smith. Discussion? Call for vote?
What?
It's just-
Is this about the change order?
Yes, this is
Yeah.
a motion.
Okay, all right. Okay,
Yeah, it was
go ahead.
motion to table, so we need a motion to bring it off the table.
Just making sure I understood that's what that was.
Call for vote?
Nance.
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Wakefield.
Yes.
Gantier.
Yes.
Seaver.
Yes.
Hitcher.
Yes.
Shropshire.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you. Item 4D, discussion possible action regarding CMS Willowbrook Incorporated change order number 5, various changes and additions in the amount of $601,711.98. Is there a motion?
Motion. Second.
Motion Shropshire, second Smith. We have with us today, we have Ms. Gary Roseborough and Ms. Brenna Wells, and we also have our city accountant here who at some point in the discussion we'll need for him to verify funds. So why the change order?
Okay. So, over the past year and a half, we started with about $650,000 in contingency for this project. That contingency is usually set aside for our CMS's scope gaps, or unforeseen conditions like unsuitable soils in the ground, or something that, with it being a renovation, items above the ceiling that can't be seen until we get in there. Over the past year and a half, we have let the architect and the owner make some changes, and we have funded those changes via our CMS contingency. At this point, we are now out of that money. Collectively, between CMS and the owners and the end user and the architect, we have spent all but I think $1,000. And at this point, there are some items that are at the request of the owner that we need to fund. And then we also have an extra $350,000 built in for any more issues that might come up. Since we wrote this change order, there have been about 35 grand worth of items that have come up via owner request or architect change. So I know last month there was some discussion on reducing that. I don't recommend that at where we're at right now, and that within a month I've already got 35 more grand worth of items. I wasn't here last month, so I don't know what was discussed. Are there any specific questions on the change order or any one item?
So, council, we have the description on the change order. That's page 4 of the packet. And that description shows those items. We did talk about some of those at last meeting. Are there any questions about those items?
Well, it's gonna have to be done. I mean, to complete the buildings, it's gonna have to happen.
Yeah, but question is, first of all, who's the owner of the contract?
That would be City of Pryor Creek.
City of Pryor Creek? And these changes that were made, who approved all these changes? Was it all done in city council meetings, or?
No, they weren't done in city council meetings. They were done via, correct me if I'm wrong, with the architect as something that was needed. Occasionally, I would get a call, for instance, on the soils, the remove and replace unsuitable soils. They tried to make that dirt work, but it kept pumping and it would not work. And they're in the process of bringing concrete in, and they've got things scheduled. And so you make decisions to try to get the project moving, try to keep it going. So part of those decisions I made, part of those decisions perhaps police department made, or perhaps fire department made, but those were always they always consulted me on those things, and I asked questions. You know, do we need that? Is that something that we need? For instance, on the first change order, the doors were not tall enough for the fire trucks. Well,
But shouldn't somebody have caught that? And if so, does that mean the city has to pay it, or did somebody overlook it? Whose responsibility? We had some questions that were asked at the last meeting. Did the architect have some responsibility here? Contractor? I mean, you presented where the money theoretically could come from, but there was a lot of questions asked at the last city council meeting, and I didn't see anything regarding any of those questions to be answered. And it's hard for us to make a decision. Yes, this thing needs to be built, but we're running out of money. And we've got to find out and have some more accountability. I'm not happy with the lack of transparency / accountability and money gone, and we're way over budget, and then our unallocated reserves, everything, we just don't have a lot of cushion, and we're not finished. And we've got to be more fiscally responsible, in my opinion. And there's a lot of these things we ought to see whose fault some of this is, if it's all our fault, if it's all just unforeseeable. There's questions that were asked that haven't been answered, that were asked last meeting.
okay, so which questions would you like to be answered, Chris?
I don't remember all of them because the video wasn't presented.
That I brought up last time was, it's just common knowledge that people know in public buildings, you gotta have ADA compliant doors.
Yes.
And why that wasn't in the plans.
Correct. So you make an assumption when you hire an architect to do the work for you, but in the process of the build, in the process of the construction, you have to be responsible about that build. So if it's not ADA compliant, if you're wanting to say what it should have, could have, or you want to say who do we blame, I'm not really interested in the blame game. I am interested in knowing what the contract says, and do we have recourse? That answer is yes. That answer is yes. So the contract states that after the project is completed, we have recourse statutory recourse within a time frame, and so in the interest of the citizens and their money, yes, we do have some recourse. So I have started talking to our city attorney. I'd rather not go there at this point in the process. But yes, we do have recourse, and that's within the contract.
Would the engineering firm not be bonded for something such as this?
Yes. So if there was a claim, if there was recourse, perhaps, they would go to their insurance company
I
for
mean,
that.
if you designed a building and didn't measure your fire truck height and not know what size of doors you need, that's kind of a bad deal.
Well, what the mayor said is not quite true. The doors that were designed fit the trucks that they have now, but I asked BK, are you sure these are tall enough? And BK's answer to me was, if we get the new truck that I want, no, they will not be. And I was like, well, then let's fix them now.
Okay.
And I think your doors got smaller due to value engineering trying to get the building within budget, which we had nothing to do with.
Sure.
BK, did you want to speak to that?
Well, I was just gonna say, they did the arch tops, and like Gary was saying, that the ladder truck we got now is 11 foot 6 inches to the tallest point. That tallest point's offset to the right. We talked about that. The doors we got now at Station 1 are 13 foot by 24. When we first started, when we first started setting down with Jim at that time, with Mr. Graver, I was wanting 14 by 14. They build the doors usually in 2 foot by 2 foot, if I'm correct.
That's correct, yes.
So if we went with 14, that was plenty, or where pretty much what the doors we got now that are double, or what we call double bay doors. So we were getting the height we wanted for, like what he was saying, the new ladder trucks are about 12 foot 4. When they did the tallest point, they did it at the center point of that arc, at 11.6.
Yes.
I don't know who on your team actually worked that, and they actually grew that door a little bit to
I
get
just
us
moved the lintels up.
to offset that to make that work, but, yeah, no, that was a deal with not really knowing. When they asked for the top height of your truck, if you tell them 11.6, I meant putting it right at 11.6, especially there on that side, it's where we got into an archway there, but I think, what'd you bump us up to, like
13.8.
Yeah. So, we can go ahead and
So-
order a new ladder truck tomorrow. That's all I got.
Thank you, thank you.
Well, here's the reason why I said a long time ago about tackling one project at a time. Finish the police and fire first, then move on to the library. So we wasn't trying to save money, cut corners over here so we can do both projects.
Well, hindsight's 20/20, and
I said this a long time ago.
during
long
the
time ago.
process, before you came on, during that process.
That thing sat over there empty for a long time. Long time.
What were the air scrubbers again?
There was the system in the apparatus bay to suck the exhaust from the trucks was the kind that hooks up to the truck. Yeah, they break all the time. The hoses have to be replaced every year.
And they're expensive.
Yes.
Okay.
We had an allowance set aside for that because we didn't have anyone price it. Before we bought it out and found somebody, another option was presented to us, something that the fire department preferred. It's a hoseless system. They're just in the air when exhaust or CO2 gets too high, they just turn on automatically. They filter the air.
And then bring it back in. It doesn't exhaust.
Yeah, it doesn't exhaust out of the
And this was
building.
requested by BK, I think, in the design phase.
They were a little bit more expensive than the other unit, and then the power design was actually probably the most expensive. Each unit required its own circuit, whereas before it was one system. That was just one circuit.
So you said this was proposed during the design phase?
I believe so.
No, this was after we had already went to contract. We had an allowance set aside.
Okay.
This is the overage.
I would like to have you, you seem like you had something you want to add, so come on, I would love to.
Yeah, what we're going with is the AirVac 911 system. We went and looked at that at Owasso's Fire Department, and like they were saying, it gets away with the hoses where we don't tear as much stuff up. It keeps the air inside. We looked at that pretty early on, and even sent things to Mr. Graver. I don't know where the whole switching to like what we got climate event now. is or not. But, I will say that I know us and Chief Nichols in history, we traveled to a lot of departments looking at a bunch of that stuff for, I don't know, what would you say? We were traveling back and forth. Captain Trammell was with us looking at a bunch of that stuff and it just landed out. And I don't know what the cost of all that stuff or even how we came about that, but we did have emails back and forth a while back with Mr. Grayman and stuff on that.
That was after we were already under contract for the original system, so this is a change after.
So, part of the questions that we had at last council meeting was the finance part about the dollars. And Jeff, would you mind to speak to that, please? You have page 5 in your packet, which is that's the EPWA sinking fund balance sheet. And
for the sales tax money coming in, initially from the first 10 million was being overfunded in effect by about $38,000 a month, which is good. We borrowed $3 more million, and now it's being underfunded. I mean, it's overfunded being by about $10,000 a month, depending upon the month. It could fluctuate. But right now, you have probably, after we made a loan payment yesterday, they took the money out, maybe? Okay.
Yes.
Probably have at least 900,000 in that account that is unallocated and probably will not need to be used for loan payments at this time. Probably won't ever have to be unless something drastic happens and the sales tax goes way down. However, you have a choice. You can spend the money somewhere else, or you can use this money to spend it. Right now, while you have it, I would recommend using the money out of that fund. Because one, you have it. Two, it's somewhat for the purpose of which it was intended, construction of these buildings. And I don't realistically see any other place where it would come from. I mean, you could pay it out of the general fund, but that would just destroy your budget.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, right. That would not be a wise thing to do, in my opinion. Okay, so we have the money in there. If you spend, if it's 601,000, is right, something like that, but some of that is contingency, which may or may not.
350,000 is contingency
So-
of the 601.
Technically, you may not spend 350,000. You probably spend some of it, but not all of it. So that will still leave you some money in there, and hopefully it keeps growing and making the payments. We pull the money out every month, so it's not like we have to make big payments usually at a time. BOK pulls the money out every month, and then they make the payments out of the escrow money that they hold wherever they hold it at. Right. So, are there any questions?
So if we have a drop in sales tax revenue,
Well, if we have a drop in sales tax revenue, everybody's going to be in trouble to some extent anyway, because that's how we fund the entire city. So I don't know that, if you think of it like that, then if you don't pay for this change order, you won't get your building finished. And I think that would be probably the biggest calamity at the moment, whereas you can plan for other things on down the line and see where you're coming from or where you're going to. I would not recommend not finishing the building, obviously, either. Of course, I'm not a construction guy. I don't know how that would work, but I just know that the money right now is in there. It'd still leave you with at least $300,000 if you spent the entire thing, more if you didn't, and I think that would be okay.
It has to be finished.
is this gonna be all we need to finish everything, or are we gonna be coming back again for something else? Because I don't know where something else would come from. It's my-
That 350,000 contingency plan is for stuff that is unforeseen that comes up. So that's going to help take care of part of that.
Is there already things in line for that $350,000 to be used for?
Yeah, like I said, just in the last month, I've had $35,000 of stuff come up.
Was part of that the ADA stuff?
I do not have the ADA stuff on that list. The counters and stuff, the cabinets?
Yeah.
I haven't even priced that yet.
Okay.
That would be on that list.
Did we have any ADA stuff?
Yeah, it was
Ordered?
really like pick and choose, and that's what was so confusing, and we asked the questions a few
It
times down
all
the road.
came up with the showers.
You know, what is
handicapped
ADA?
showers, yeah.
We were told it was up to the city to decide, and that's what Graver said. And we find out last week that only some, not find out, we presented that only half of the cabinets are ADA in the building, and are we ADA compliant in the whole building, or are we not? And that's when we were told to go ahead and make it.
And they call it-
Which building are we talking about?
Police and fire, well, both of them.
Both of them? Yeah.
Well, I understand the bathrooms and stuff being ADA compliant, but firefighters and officers don't need ADA compliant showers, because if they're in wheelchairs, they can't be a cop or a firefighter.
That was part of the reason why we thought this building was not gonna have to be ADA compliant. We don't make those decisions. We just take the building as is and the way it's designed. We don't ask those
Dispatcher
questions.
taking a shower.
So I'm thinking the same way, but you also have people in that building that are not firefighters, or not.
Yeah.
You have dispatch, you have radio, you have your emergency center. So we've got the bathrooms is easy. It's, now we bought appliances, we bought refrigerators to fit the millwork that's being built for the last 2 months. It's supposed to be at my job next Monday. And now we're cutting half of it down, and now we're having to dig out not refrigerators, but dishwashers and ovens that I've had in storage that we went out way early and bought
Yeah.
to make sure we would have them. And now I'm having to pull them out, send them back, and now we're gonna have to get more, which, sorry, I can't tell you when that'll be,
Or how much they'll be.
or how much it'll be.
So when the question comes up, are we going to be ADA compliant? Well, the answer is yes.
You will be now.
The answer is yes. There's
That was not
liability
the
not to
design
be
of the building.
ADA.
Well, I understand the idea of changes and things like that, I get it. I just don't like the idea that decisions have been made, and then we gotta go ahead and approve them, and it, without even having the knowledge of what's going on.
Do I need to call a special council meeting every time they need to make a change?
No, but it's
I'm not
just-
understanding what you mean,
It's
Chris.
just the $600,000 is a big thing, and the questions that were asked, we're running out of money, is my concern. We are running out of money. And I understand that it's gotta be finished. I get that 100%. I understand that. I know we can't nickel and dime everything.
I was just gonna say, a $600,000 change order on a $13 million project is actually 5%, which really isn't, not that bad. I mean, I've worked with a lot of municipalities and a lot of projects, and I've seen some change orders that would, give you a heart attack percentage-wise. But 5% is not terrible. I'm just telling you, there have been worse. Now, if there's more, then maybe I'm wrong, but
Well-
5% really isn't all that.
We haven't taken into account that 3 million either.
Was that a change order or just,
Well, we had to have it to be able to do everything to cover all the change orders, so.
was that?
Yes,
That was
so-
part of
We had a $400,000 one, we had a $69,000.
That increases that by quite a bit.
Yeah, that's a little bit more. But this one is, another 5% on a 13 million project is,
It started out as a 10 million, and then it went to 13, and then now it's gone another 600. But we've got to complete it. You can't leave it open to the weather. That's where we're at. We're between a rock and a hard spot, so it's got to happen. It's just that, do we have any recourse after this has
that's
happened?
what you normally.
Yes, so that answer is yes. We do have recourse. The answer is yes. Also, the answer is yes, that we have the funding to be able to complete it.
Right.
That answer is also yes. So the unforeseen things that have come up that we have made decisions on have been, in my opinion, they've been wise decisions in that all things considered, we need to keep the project going, not shut it down, and not delay the project, because that always translates into more dollars.
We'd be happy to sit down with any one of you all, go over these numbers. We want to be as transparent as we can be. We don't make these up, we just try to fix them and get you a building. And I have pressed this job to no end to make this thing happen on September 1st. And if we've been wrong to push something through to get it going, that's my fault. I'll take the blame for that, but I gotta build a building for you and I gotta get it done on time. So.
So would you say that by combining these two services in one building, did that save the city a lot of money rather than building two separate facilities in two different places? And so in the big picture.
You share all of your GMP.
Yes,
my time,
yeah.
her time, everybody's time.
So in the big picture,
In the big picture.
even though this is costing more in the end than we anticipated, it was a big savings because they collaborated, went together.
A big part of this costed more than when it started was the cost of material, everything that happened with the COVID pandemic, everything went totally
And the same
nuts.
thing with all these changes that we've had to make in design and unforeseen, it takes me twice as long to get that material, even if I can get that material, which things that I used to come up, get it fixed, have it in 2 days, now it's 2 weeks. So I'm also fighting that. So that's the
Sure.
reason why the extension in time as well.
It's hard to get anything.
It's hard to get anything. Gas is high. Nobody wants to come to this town to work. Not just this town, but any town that's more than 30 miles from wherever they live. So
Right.
we're suffering with that. It's just a perfect storm. It really is. But
My
we can sit down and look at the numbers. We can show you what we feel like has been caused by owner request, unforeseen, and straight up, just great.
I would love that, but my question to the mayor, you made the comment that you are investigating potential, I guess we'd say errors and omissions would be about the best way. Your intention is to pursue any of those things that may work to the city's favor?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, well then,
There's no reason not to. I mean, when you know those things exist,
okay.
then
So the intention is to pursue it, but we do gotta finish the building.
yes.
Okay.
Now's not the time to do it. We
No.
gotta get the building.
Yeah, I understand that.
Now's not the time to do that.
Yeah, no. Because if you did it now, you shut everything down.
Yeah, you'll shut everything down.
Yeah. And,
But you've got places you have to dry in. You've got places you have to
I got
dry
other
in.
buildings I need to go build, sir.
Well, I know that too, right. But you have places over there that if the weather came in right now, you would have.
We're not suffering any weather.
How about that open spot about yay big all around the library there between the,
That's not a controlled space right now. And,
okay,
I mean, I'm sheetrocking inside the library as we speak in every area but that area.
okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that,
Both buildings are in the dry,
okay.
but I would love to have that done.
So,
Yeah.
so with this change order, it should be enough to finish up what we have, pretty much?
I feel really confident that it will, but I feel like I said that last time, and we just keep getting changes. They're endless.
Where are the changes coming from?
Usually owner request or architect.
Yeah, I would love to see that, what you were talking about.
I don't know how much coordination was done with Fiber Interactive and Scotia Communications. There was a lot of things that weren't.
They've added a bunch. Scotia Communications has added a lot of money to the company.
But basically, they can't, your building won't, you can't use it if they don't have what they need to get their stuff in, so it is 100% necessary. But I don't know when it's gonna be. I hear about a change every other day.
I have a buddy that's an electrical contractor, and when he goes out for bid, he calls at that moment and find out what copper's gonna cost that day.
Oh, it changes day to day.
And then whenever he puts his bid in, then he orders it and puts it in a Connex container. If you don't, 3 days from now, it may be, quite a bit higher.
Yeah. No, right up front, we went out and ordered overhead doors 6 months ago, everything that we could possibly think of that we could. It's already coming. It's coming. I got a replacement
But you've already paid for it, so there's no price increase on that. You
Yeah,
have-
just about everything's been bought out except for some benches
Mhm.
and the showers.
So we can see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Yes, sir.
We just need to stay the course, and we need to finish well.
Yes, sir.
And that's what we're trying to do.
Yes, sir.
Maybe differentiate between needs and wants and wants to be done.
We started doing that as a team. The last change order we come to give was like, okay, we've really got, you can't just want everything. You can't just have everything. But some of these wants are necessities in theory to even be functional.
Yeah. So we have to build it for function.
And we have to build for inspection. We have to get a jail inspection. We have to get a fire marshal inspection.
Mhm.
So a lot of that's for that too.
You know, there's a lot of frustration here. Obviously, we all want this building done. Obviously, we have sympathy for the changes that are coming that need to be taking place. It might be beneficial to ease some of our minds and concerns if we can get a report from the architect soon regarding any issues that they foresee or that might be coming, or maybe just give some insight as to some of these things that might have been overlooked. And
Has he ever sent you an architectural report?
Yeah, I get it about every 2 weeks at our meetings.
I don't know what he's based it on.
No. So,
And man, we're just as frustrated as you are.
I can imagine.
I'd love to have not one more change in this job.
Yeah.
It would make my day.
I would just love to build a normal job.
So you're saying a lot of these changes are necessary?
yes,
Oh, yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
In fact, I don't think we've made any changes that we don't consider to be necessary.
you mentioned that you're frustrated. Do you mind elaborating on exactly what you're frustrated with? Maybe that can,
There's just so many changes. The documents are so loose in my opinion. There's more verbiage, there's more direction in verbiage than there is in drawings, and that's not a good sign.
I'm assuming that's not something you come across
No,
on a regular basis.
not at this volume, no.
That leaves our construction manager in a position to guess.
And that's what we've been doing. I mean, when we were doing the block work, we didn't know, there was a lot of things we didn't know, and I should have stopped the job right then and there and just said, nope, we're not gonna move forward until we have everything we need, but I didn't. I pressed on, I had my electrician, not only wiring for what we thought, but what could be, just so we would have things there for whatever we got to keep the job going. That's a little bit on us, but that's just what we do. We try to build the job to get you all in when you want. And we put ourselves on the line every now and then. We have a lot here, and I'll never do it again.
We appreciate it, though.
No, I know you don't live in this town. I want to do y'all a good job. This is not something I want to deal with at all.
So we are where we are, and it is good discussion. And bringing this in front of council like this, I mean, that's the only option that we have, but it's the right thing. It's the right thing to do. And there's not been any of these comments that have been that have not been true. There have not been any of these comments, any of these changes that we have not felt like were appropriate or felt like that were needed for the function of either the police and fire building or the library. And so I work with these folks about every day, and I have a lot of confidence in them, and they're experienced, and we're paying them a fee, and so far they've been earning it.
Councilwoman Seaver, clarification. When you asked them the question about was it cheaper to combine, were you talking about police and fire and the library project, or the police and fire one building?
Police and fire in one building.
Okay.
Both
I was gonna
answers to
say,
that question.
I understand.
It would be yes to both. Combining them two as one contract is a value to you, and having police and fire as one building is a value to you. Both.
Other discussion? Other questions? Thank you all for coming today.
Thank you for your work.
Thank you for your work. Thank you, Jeff. Call for vote.
Smith,
Yes.
Redfield,
Yes.
Gantier,
No.
Seaver,
Yes.
Hitcher,
Yes.
Shropshire,
Yes.
Nance,
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 5, City Attorney's Report. There is no City Attorney report today. We'll move on to item 6, discussion of possible action on consent agenda. Item A, approval minutes of the June 21, 2022 council meeting. B, approve payroll purchase orders through July 8, 2022. C, approve claims for purchase orders through July 5, 2022. D, acknowledge receipt of deficient purchase orders. E, discussion and possible action regarding mayor's nomination of Roy Jackson to Park Board seat number 4, term ending 7/31/23. Item F, discussion possible action regarding accepting bid from Tippett's Trucking LLC in the amount of $6,075 for the demolition of property at 1104 Southeast 14th, owned by Clifford Wofford, from nuisance abatement account 4646554450. Other bids received: James Garner of Excavating, $8,750. Wade's Wrecker Service, $9,200. Item G, discussion and possible action regarding an interlocal agreement between City of Pryor and Mace County 911. Item H, discussion and possible action authorizing mayor to sign annual maintenance agreement with Schindler Elevator Corporation in the amount of $7,200. Item I, discussion and possible action regarding expenditure in the amount of $3,015 to All American Fire Systems Incorporated for hydro testing from real property acquisition reserve capital outlay account 4646554449. Item J, discussion and possible action regarding an expenditure in the amount of $3,400 to Equiture /DSS Corporation in the yearly maintenance agreement 7/25/22 to 7/24/23 for the voice recorder for the Pryor Creek Police Department from Police Technology account 02-215-5260. This is budgeted in the 2022-2023 police budget. Excuse me. Item K, discussion and possible action regarding a 36-month yearly renewal lease, July 1st through June 30, with Fiber Interactive Technologies at a cost of $750 a month for 36 months. FIT will host the WatchGuard body and police car cameras, server and maintain monthly maintenance and systems upgrade from Police Technology account 02-215-5260. This is budgeted in the 2022-2023 police budget. Item L, discussion and possible action regarding changes in the pay plan retroactive to July 1st, 2022 as follows. 1, range Q, definition, strike code enforcement officer and add community development coordinator / city planner. Excuse me. 2, add to each range and step a 4% cost of living adjustment. Item 3, remove steps 1 through 3 on ranges H and I. Item 4, raise ranges R and U to industry standard and commensurate with duties. Item 5, raise ranges H, I, and M to industry standard and commensurate with duties. Item 6, animal control officer position from range B to range C. Item 7, animal control supervisor position from range C to range D. Item 8, assistant city clerk position from range E to range F. Item M, discussion and possible action regarding general government budget fund 201 for the 2022-2023 fiscal year. Item N, discussion and possible action regarding community development budget fund 203 for the 2022-2023 fiscal year. Item O, discussion and possible action regarding planning and zoning budget fund 205 from 2022-2023 fiscal year. Item P, discussion and possible action regarding managerial budget fund 207 from 2022-2024 2022-2023 fiscal year. Item Q, discussion possible action regarding clerical and accounting budget, Fund 209 for the 2022-2023 fiscal year. Item R, discussion possible action regarding city attorney budget, Fund 211 for the 2022-2023 fiscal year. Item S, discussion possible action regarding city treasurer budget, Fund 213 for the 2022-2023 fiscal year. Item T, discussion possible action regarding police budget, Fund 215 for 2022-2023 fiscal year. Item U, discussion possible action regarding animal shelter budget, Fund 216 for the 2022-2023 fiscal year. Item V, discussion possible action regarding fire department budget, Fund 217 for the 2022-2023 fiscal year. Item W, discussion possible action regarding park budget, Fund 219 for the 2022-2023 fiscal year. Item X, discussion possible action regarding the library budget, Fund 221 for the 2022-2023 fiscal year. Item Y, discussion possible action regarding cemetery budget, Fund 223 for the 2022-2023 fiscal year. Item Z, discussion possible action regarding the CEM Emergency Management Budget, Fund 225 for the 2022-2023 fiscal year. Item AA, discussion possible action regarding municipal court budget, Fund 231 for the 2022-2023 fiscal year. Item BB, discussion possible action regarding street budget, Fund 14 for the 2022-2023 fiscal year. Item CC, discussion possible action regarding cemetery care fund budget, Fund 19 for the 2022-2023 fiscal year. Item DD, discussion possible action regarding capital outlay budget, Fund 44 for the 2022-2023 fiscal year. Item EE, discussion possible action regarding real property acquisition reserve budget, Fund 46 for the 2022-2023 fiscal year. Item FF, discussion possible action regarding Pryor Public Works Authority budget, Fund 88 for the 2022-2023 fiscal year. Item GG, discussion possible action regarding the E911 budget, Fund 91 for the 2022-2023 fiscal year. Item HH, discussion possible action regarding Economic Development Trust Authority budget, Fund 98 for the 2022-2023 fiscal year. This is the consent agenda. The items council would like to remove.
Mr. Mayor, I have a request. I have been studying it, looking at it, and I have some notations on some things that have questions on the budget, but there's some of it, I just be honest with you, with the holiday weekend and getting it, I haven't had a chance to ask. Is there a possibility that we could push this off the budget so that we can have more time to actually study it? Because I actually study things before I vote on them, and I just haven't had enough time to thoroughly study everything that has been presented.
Okay, let me ask the question again. Are there items that we would like to remove from the consent agenda to consider this evening? So let's go through the procedures that we have. The answer to your question is yes, Chris, but let's follow the procedures. Okay. Items that council would like to remove from the consent agenda.
I need for sure A and R.
You said A and R. I would like to remove item N. I would also like to remove item E.
F, G, I, J, K, and then from M on, the double H.
From M on?
Letter M is in Michael.
On through double H. Are there others? Items to remove? A, E, F, G, I, J, K, M through double H. All of those that have not been removed, I would entertain a motion.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Motion Shropshire, second Smith. Discussion? Call for vote.
Brightfield,
Yes.
Gantier,
Yes.
Seaver,
Yes.
Ketcher,
Yes?
Shropshire.
Yes.
Nance.
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item A, approval of minutes, June 21, 2022 council meeting. Is there a motion?
Motion?
Second.
Motion Catcher, second Smith. Call for vote.
Gantier,
Yes.
Seaver,
Yes.
Ketcher,
Yes.
Shropshire.
Yes.
Nance.
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Brightfield,
Abstain.
Motion carries. Item E, discussion possible action regarding mayor's nomination of Roy Jackson to Park Board seat number 4, term ending 7/31/23.
Motion? Motion.
Motion Catcher, second Nance.
I'm doing.
Mr. Jackson is here in the audience today, and we're glad you're here, Mr. Jackson. And at Park Board meeting, we had some lively discussion about pickleball. We had some, that was fun. It gave us all kind of a vision of maybe what's possible there. Would anybody like to ask Mr. Jackson any questions?
Why?
I was down there directing a musical and Larry was playing flute and he said, "Would you like to have a part?"
There you go. There you go.
No pressure.
No pressure.
He said, "Would you consider it?"
Yeah.
So I considered it. You know, I've lived here in Pryor for a long time. I've never been involved in this portion. I've supported the city in a lot of different ways, as I did on our social president. But this is the first time to be part of the inner workings of it. I just thought I'd give it a try and see.
Thank you.
See how things work.
Thank you for that consideration, sir.
I'll be coming back next meeting asking for a pickleball court.
There you go.
$150,000 extra dollars.
How about that swimming pool first?
Absolutely, yeah.
Absolutely.
That was a joke, but.
We'll put one in the fire department, the police station.
Other questions or discussion?
Joke, Terry.
Call for vote.
Seaver,
Yes.
Ketcher,
Yes?
Shropshire.
Yes.
Nance.
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Brightfield,
Yes.
Gantier.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Motion carries. Welcome aboard, Mr. Jackson. Item F, discussion possible action regarding accepting bid from Tippett's Trucking LLC in the amount of $6,075 for the demolition of property at 1104 Southeast 14th owned by Clifford Wofford from nuisance abatement account 464655450. Other bids received, James Garner Excavating, $8,750. Wade's Wrecker Service, $9,200. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Motion Catcher, second Nance. Discussion.
Yes, sir. My question on the one from Wade's, it gave a description, remove house and foundation, bring in topsoil and grade back to level, leave mature trees and outbuildings. That description wasn't given on the other two. Are they all the same?
They're assumed, yes.
They're assumed? Okay.
Yes.
That was, I didn't know if it was apples to apples and oranges to oranges. That was my question.
That's what was requested. Thank you for bringing that up. I appreciate it. Other comments, discussion? Thank you. Call for vote.
Ketcher,
Yes.
Shropshire.
Yes.
Nance.
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Brightfield,
Yes.
Gantier.
Yes.
Seaver,
Yes.
Motion carries. Item G, discussion possible action regarding interlocal agreement between City of Pryor and Mays County 911.
Motion.
Second.
Motion Shropshire, second Nance. Chief, would you like to speak to that, please?
I guess I said, what was the question on that?
This, why do we do that? Why is it there?
That's an agreement with us in Mays County. When we combine on our 911 centers, they pay the initial fees And this is part of the agreement that shows what our monthly payment is.
So it's a renewal type thing?
It's yes and no. We just combined just recently. So I think last year there was a portion, and then this year when it came back, there was some additional cost there, and that defines what the cost is and what our monthly payment is to
Okay.
County 911.
Okay.
And we have the landline too, don't we,
Yes, we have the landline, but again, that's separate.
from this?
They accept the cellular calls and the internet calls
Right.
for us, and then they transfer them to us.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Excuse me.
Other questions, comments? Call for vote?
Shropshire?
Yes.
Nance?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Redfield?
Yes.
Gantier?
Yes.
Seaver?
Yes.
Ketcher?
Yes.
Motion carries. Item I, discussion and possible action regarding expenditure in the amount of $3,015 to All American Fire Systems Incorporated for hydro testing from real property acquisition, reserve capital outlay account 464655449. Is there a motion?
Motion?
Second.
Motion Shropshire, second Smith. Discussion.
Is
Something
this,
you have to do.
is this the only bid that we had, or is this?
Say something on that, Mayor, if you allow me.
Please do.
So All American does our annual fire extinguisher inspections and stuff like that. Your 6 years, your hydros, all that stuff, it just comes up to the extinguisher. So when they came through this year, they looked at all of our extinguishers, they did the annual, and then they started on the 6 years and hydros. You can have another company come in, but they won't like the annual that they do, and they'll say, hey, we gotta redo your annual. So it's just part of maintaining, and actually that's one sum, but that's all the departments. So
Okay.
I think City Hall's like 450 or something, but, yeah.
And we've had several years' experience with this company. They've done us a good job.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Other questions, comments? Thank you, BK. Call for vote?
Nance?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Redfield?
Yes.
Gantier?
Yes.
Seaver?
Yes.
Ketcher?
Yes.
Shropshire?
Yes.
Motion carries. Item J, discussion and possible action regarding an expenditure in the amount of $3,400 to Equiture/DSS Corporation in the yearly maintenance agreement from 7/25/22 to 7/24/23 for the voice recorder for the Pryor Creek Police Department from Police Technology Account 02215-5260. This is budgeted in the 2022-2023 police budget. Is there a motion?
Motion. Second.
Motion Ketcher, second Smith. Discussion. Thank you, Chief.
Again, this is a voice logger that we've had approximately 5 years now, and this is the yearly maintenance fee, maintenance agreement with Equiture. And this piece of equipment will transfer to the new police facility.
So just, okay.
So one of the things that one of the things we don't do is we don't, if it's a 5-year agreement, we don't approve it for 5 years. We re-up each fiscal year, and we do that because that's following the rules.
Any other questions?
Thank you, sir. Call for vote.
Redfield?
Yes.
Gantier?
Yes.
Seaver?
Yes.
Ketcher?
Yes.
Shropshire?
Yes.
Nance?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Motion carries. Item K, discussion and possible action regarding a 36-month renewable lease, July 1st through June 30, with Fiber Interactive Technologies at a cost of $750 a month for 36 months. FIT will host the WatchGuard body and police car camera server and maintain monthly maintenance and system upgrades from Police Technology Account 02215-5260. This is budgeted in the 2022-2023 police budget.
Motion.
Second.
Motion
Ketcher, second Nance. Discussion, questions?
I just didn't understand the invoice. At rate 750, quantity 1. It doesn't show the 36 months or even an annual amount. And mine was a clerical question. That's all.
Yeah, that's a good catch. He did not put that on there, and that's noted on the invoice in our office. So it's not noted on his invoice, but It is noted in our office.
That was my question.
Thank you, Chris.
You overlooked yearly in this statement.
I'm sorry?
You jumped right past the yearly, like the one before, it's a yearly renewal. So my other question is, when is this 36 months up?
That would
Or we'd
be,
have to renew it altogether, anew.
so 36 months from July 1st. From this July 1st.
25?
Yeah, 25.
25, okay. But you, when you was reading that 36-month yearly, you didn't say yearly.
Oh, it's true. So we said yearly, July 1st through June 30.
I
Yeah,
just wanted to know
yearly.
that.
Very good. And that should be clarified. Thank you very much. Any other questions or comments? Call for vote?
Gantier,
Yes.
Seaver,
Yes.
Hitcher,
Yes.
Shropshire.
Yes.
Nance,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Brakefield.
Yes.
Item M, discussion and possible action regarding general government budget, Fund 201 for 2022, 2023 fiscal year. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Motion Seaver, second Smith. So annually, we go through and we approve each one of these, excuse me, each one of these items. All of the funds that begin with the number 2 are in what we consider our general fund. So Fund 201 that we're considering down through AA, which is Fund 231, all of those are included in our general fund. In our general fund, we are, excuse me, in our general fund, we are bound by being able to budget 90% of the previous year's receipts. And so that's how we figure what we can budget in our general fund, which includes all of these funds that begin with the number 2. In the general government budget fund 201, you have that in front of you, and reading down through all of those items, coming to a total of $1,101,706.93. Are there any of those items that council has questioned?
Yes, sir.
And which item?
201-5045.
5045. General insurance, yes.
I was just curious, is it going to be going up 20%? Is that? I mean, it seems a lot.
Eva, what is that escalation? Did you calculate that today? We actually just received that today. Jeff, I think we updated that with you by email, did we not? Yes. Okay, very good. That was the intention.
Health insurance was trying to go up to 28.
So basically, Chris, on the 5045, last year it was $50,684. This year, $61,055. That is how much it has increased. So that's up about 20%.
That's a 20% increase on what was comparable to what we had?
Yes, it is exactly, actually, that's not true. It is not exactly what we had, because we are now insuring the new police and fire center, and we're also insuring the library as it has expanded. So,
All right.
so on those properties.
That makes sense.
Yeah, on those properties, those are additions.
I think they came around last year and actually did a physical appraisal on the buildings,
Yes, they did.
and that changed the,
And they don't come around each year and do the,
right.
and do the
so that
physical appraisal.
They are more accurate, I think. Plus, we've added like the restrooms at the park.
Yes.
Remember if there was anything else.
Also in that general property insurance is all the art pieces that we have in our library and the art pieces that we have that are.
So it's covering contents as well?
Yes.
Okay.
We talked earlier, but we're making a heck of a drop in our unallocated reserves and excess, but it went to the different departments.
That is
And things that we had to do due to the move to the new police and fire and things in the library and all that. So that ate up quite a bit of that, I'm sure.
And also wages.
And wages also, yeah.
So we have an increase in insurance, we've had an increase in wages and offering the cost of living adjustment.
Health insurance was destined to go up by 28%.
Yes.
And our agent talked them down to 14%, which was amazing. All health insurance, like I said, was skyrocketing due to COVID and everything. So everything is basically gone through the roof, as everybody knows, and inflation is anywhere from 11 to 18% now. So
And I had Mr. Coker come up and discuss the unallocated reserve drop at the budget personnel meeting. But if you don't mind coming up and just giving us another short outline on that and what we need to do to make sure that this doesn't impact us in a negative way.
Well, okay, right now the budget has a,
Jeff, would you mind point that microphone towards you? Thank you very much.
okay. Right now, what is the unallocated, because I did not get
The
that
last
thing.
one is this.
$280,396.
Okay, yes, that is a big drop. It did get moved out to the departments. I think that will go up, because what we normally do is, see, the budget really cannot be finalized until the, all the month of June is closed out, and that includes invoices and stuff that may come in later on and during, July. So what we do is we make any adjustment after that to that unallocated. The amount I gave you to budget was based upon May numbers, and at the time that I calculated that, our fund balance was a certain amount, but it has gone up since then. And of course, I haven't seen what the revenues are for the entire month. So I think that number will go up. I don't know how much. Last estimate was maybe at least 100,000. Okay, but until I see the end result, I don't know. But but that's where we're at. And yeah, we just need to make sure we watch our budget and not, if we spend everything that we've never spent everything that we budget, but if we do spend it, then our budget will go down for the next year. So we just need to be careful and watch what we spend. And we'll do a mid-year review like we did last year, and we'll see where we're at. And then, of course, the council can adjust accordingly at that point in time. But of course, anytime you want me to look at the numbers, I'm also more than happy to do that, even before mid-year or after mid-year.
you just brought up an important point, and I just brought something to mind. Do we need to approve this before we have all the final numbers in?
We probably can, if at least in fund, or really department, is it 201, that's the
Yeah.
general government, that we allow me to adjust the unallocated based upon.
Would it be smarter to maybe table these until we can get all of those final numbers and then do it at one time then?
I would agree with that.
I'm asking the mayor and you guys, everybody,
I
but
mean, you'll know for certain, but I don't think it will negatively impact you, but you would know 100%, because one of the things is we take our available cash that we have, and we subtract out any of the current liabilities, which would be payables and accrued payroll. And since we haven't done some of those calculations yet, because we just finished the end of the year, we're not 100% sure.
well, asking Eva, have you got everything that you needed done?
No.
Not there yet.
No, we
either.
have to have the bank accounts reconciled, and of course, the bank statements probably didn't even go out till today.
Sure.
And our first council council meeting of the month is always expensed back.
Right, but I always look,
And the payroll.
right, and the payroll, and, well, the payroll is depending upon the number of days in the last year or this year, so that fluctuates. Also, I look just to see there's stuff. Because, like I know, for example, there are outstanding invoices from the fire and from cemetery and probably from police and whatnot that will be accounted for, and they may already be in the system as encumbrance, but they may not, so I need to double check.
Tonight's payments will be
Right.
expensed back, which is,
But they're already entered in the system, aren't they? Aren't
well,
they?
they haven't been updated.
But when you, don't they get updated when you
Think we
post them
oughta-
to?
We could do this in
What you do is you enter
August.
them as accounts payable.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to
Hit the
turn into
expense,
August.
and then when you pay them, they,
She doesn't receive them until
We have
they're
time.
approved
really?
here,
Oh.
tonight, so that's always expensed back. to
Okay. All right.
The month before.
Statutes don't require us to have this done until the end of August.
Right.
I'm just wondering if maybe we need to wait until we get everything lined out
That's up
so
to
we
you
know
guys.
what we're doing. I
I
mean,
mean, it doesn't matter to me.
it's probably not gonna change a lot, but it could.
It could possibly change some, could go up. I'm hoping
Yeah.
it goes up.
Chances are it will go up. That unallocated reserves item will go up.
Yeah.
Mayor, do you think it would be something to look forward to maybe table those items until we get the whole budget figured and then go for it with the,
I would say, I see the numbers every day. And
Yeah, you're used to this, yeah.
I deal with it every day, and I understand the hesitancy of council if you don't see the numbers every day. We have 2 new council members here tonight, and by the way, you guys go to class sometime.
Tomorrow, with Thursday.
Thursday, yeah. 7th, this, whatever day the 7th is.
yeah, Thursday. Well,
Chris, you're going to get bona fide, buddy.
I've got this copy, I've got this copy, I left 3 copies at home, so this is changing faster than,
And I
in my
just,
mind, I guess, but.
Most of those
and
numbers
I
are
just got
changing.
this budget report that I can now verify some things that I
Well, that's
didn't
the
have
financial
before.
report.
Yeah, that's financial
Um,
report, and I had one of those printed for each
I think a
council.
lot of the budget changes were within the departments and from
Yes.
category to category. They probably were not
But the budgetable amount stays the same.
in your calculation, in those, but that number will change some. And
Okay.
I can't guarantee you which way. So if
So
you-
to answer your question, well, it doesn't really have any negative effect on us if we table.
Okay.
Bringing it to you early, I think, is wise.
Well, it gives us a good
And
chance
that-
to look it over.
And that you have an opportunity to look it over, and you have the opportunity, and so I'm not trying to force anything down anybody's throat at all. I would like to give council an opportunity to ask questions about different items, if you have studied it, and
If we brought these up next council meeting, I'm just throwing this out there, and the rest of you councilmen, speak up. If we brought this up next council meeting, when everybody had a chance to look everything over and check it out, and see if we had any questions, and then we could, would you guys have, would all the numbers be in 2 weeks?
probably not.
Probably not.
Probably not.
Probably
Okay,
not,
well,
probably not.
First of
until-
August, would that be?
Yeah, that'd probably be more, because usually what I do is I look for the first month of invoices after the end of the year to see if any of them apply to the previous years.
Okay.
We don't, Pryor is really good at catching most of those, but on occasion, 1 or 2, I mean,
Things
it's easy.
happen, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, possibly, if we could maybe get a chance to look at it a little more in depth. The guys that are on the budget crew, we've seen all kinds of different figures and numbers thrown at us and everything, but the rest of these guys, they haven't had a chance to look at that. And possibly, if they had questions, maybe we could call in or come up by the office and ask questions. Would that be acceptable if you were in?
Absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely. I would welcome that.
Okay.
Absolutely would,
Okay.
absolutely.
Just throwing that out there for,
I would appreciate it, because although I do have some questions, I've probably spent 10 hours studying over this packet, and there's a lot to digest. And so there's probably questions I have that haven't found yet, and then there's some that I'm gonna figure the answers out now that I have more materials to look at. So it's just, it takes time to study.
Yeah.
This is a big decision. We're talking $10 million.
Yes, yes,
So it's a
that's,
big
that's the,
decision. It's a
that's the
whole-
budgetable amount in the general fund.
Right.
And we've already approved golf, we've approved rec center. And so I would say, Troy, if you wanted to,
I can make a motion
if you
that we
wanted to offer
table
to table,
M through HH.
that would be appropriate. It would not,
I'll second that motion.
okay, motion to table M through HH.
Do we have to withdraw the previous motion?
No, they just
No,
amended.
Okay.
no.
All right, yeah.
Jeff, any more comments that you can think of?
No, when I
Appreciate
get
it.
new numbers, I will forward them to you,
Okay,
and we'll see. But it will probably, I'll have it almost ready in a couple of weeks, but the
Okay.
month will be,
yeah. Council, I think it would be appropriate to table, when you say table, you know, if you don't put an until on it, you know, then that gives us flexibility, so.
Okay,
I
just table
probably would not want to bring this back to you until first meeting in August.
Okay.
That'll give the opportunity for everything that's encumbered to go through the system. Am I speaking correctly about that, Eva?
Yes.
Yes. There's a motion table M through HH. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay.
I think Brianna had
I
it.
already seconded.
Oh, you already seconded?
Oh, okay.
I third it.
Shropshire, second. Call for vote.
Seaver,
We missed the discussion. I know, I had a question.
Oh,
Can I ask a question?
yes, please.
Okay, so we put this off until August,
Mhm.
and let's say that we come back. Is there going to be time to adjust these numbers, time to rewrite the budget that you've spent
Oh, no.
so much time on?
I have no, I have no intention of rewriting the budget.
Exactly.
The things that will change will be within this unallocated reserves and excess.
Okay.
And because of invoices coming in, because of sales
Okay.
tax coming in, actual sales tax, because this is done based on a projection of sales tax. It's not done based on real numbers. And so the real numbers will not be able to calculate really until August.
Okay, thank you.
Make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Very good. Any other discussion? Call for vote.
Seaver,
Yes.
Hitcher,
Yes.
Shropshire.
Yes.
Nance.
yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Wakefield,
Yes.
Gantier.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 7, committee reports, budget personnel, Brakefield.
Nothing to really report, other than we're still adjusting numbers on the budget that currently exists, as we've just discussed, but our next meeting is July 12th at 5:30.
Thank you. Ordinance insurance, Ms. Shropshire.
Nothing at this time.
Mr. Smith on the street.
We are working on some stuff for our next meeting.
Very good. Item 8, unforeseeable business is none. Item 9.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Catcher motion to adjourn, and Smith second. Call for vote.
Hitcher,
Yes.
Shropshire,
Yes.
Nance.
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Wakefield,
Yes.
Gantier.
Yes.
Seaver,
Yes.
Motion carries. We'll call Pryor Public Works Authority to order. And item 2, approve minutes, June 21, 2022. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Motion Shropshire, second Smith. Discussion. Call for vote.
Shropshire.
Yes.
Nance.
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Wakefield,
Yes.
Gantier.
Yes.
Seaver,
Yes.
Hitcher.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 4, adjourn.
Motion.
Motion.
You didn't do
Motion
unforeseen.
Brakefield. Who's second?
You didn't do unforeseen.
That's okay.
You're out of order.
No, I said there's no unforeseen business.
No, you didn't. I didn't hear it. I didn't hear it. You didn't say it.
I'll second.
Nance seconds. Call for vote.
Nance?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Rickfield?
Yes.
Gantier?
Yes.
Seaver?
Yes.
Etcher?
Yes.
Trutville?
Yes.